Hi, it's Faye. Who else would it be? I'm at Macon Manor in Macon, Mississippi. Car going by. And I'm going to try and keep this short and sweet. There's been a lot of Pollyanna going on because I had a really toxic, bad situation going on here. And I've been left in a pretty bad position. Me and my house, we will be okay. But the last however many videos for months now, you may have noticed, especially in regards to foundation and what have you, that gee, it doesn't seem like there'd been a lot of progress, and there's some reasons for it. Let me switch. I'm right here. You can clearly see I did order at great expense. I have new posts for the porch, solid African mahogany. They're structural supporting, really important. The porches are just gone. And even where there's not holes, a lot of the wood, except for when you're standing like where I am, really close to the house, anywhere that rain had gotten on and where you see the paint basically worn, you can pretty much just fall right through them. That was one of three things in particular that on many occasions had been promised to have been fixed. Getting these porches put back together. The three things promised, there was never any promises or discussions of having my house completely restored. It was primarily three things. Obviously, the most important of which, starting from about here, the foundation. I'm sorry, it's really hot today. The AC just kicked on a little bit ago. So from here, what you see is there was slab eventually that 20 some odd days ago or whatever, it was poured. Not all of it, but in the sections I'm showing you. The house is not resting on any of this. It is on jacks. It's actually a whole lot less level than it was when we even got here. And it's having some pretty bad ramifications for damages that are going on inside the house. So this was begun out of the three things promised. At least I guess you could say this was actually begun. And so that section ends. This has not been addressed at all. What you're seeing right here, it picks up again. This little section was poured. It had some initial blocks stacked. There's a row of these guys to go on top, have the house relifted, level, and set down on those, which of course, again, not finished. And then this section of the house, which used to be not the worst, but now it is, because at least the others are a little bit better. This hasn't been done at all. And where you see it dipping, it extends through the kitchen. It's like a drunken sailor feeling that you get, or a crazy house when you're at the stove attempting to cook anything. It is so sloped. That right there. Again, it was something that was promised. I had agreed to give somebody $5,000 to help them begin making some inways into filing some patents, of which I have since discovered there is literally no chance of them being able to do that. They're either unaware of it or under some delusions about it, but there is no chance of that happening. Anyways, I promised to give them that. Actually ended up giving them in cash money over $8,000. It's coming to the house here. The three things being structural significant things: the foundation, the porches, and the stairs in the front foyer here, which I had moved all my glassware and that out of here because why? A few weeks ago, it's like, oh, going to be cutting the hole through the ceiling in there to, it's hard to see. It's starting to buckle up. That wasn't like that. The floors were not like this. This is the center main hallway downstairs. That's Bella. Oh, Bella. And right through the center. Again, it's kind of hard to see, but they're beginning to separate. The house is separating in two halves because it's leaning outwards on each side. A lot of stuff got tore up. A lot of stuff got started. Nothing got finished, with the exception, it was pointed out to me, oh, the ugly bathroom got demoed. So, yeah, if you want to consider this finished, then sure. Then at least I guess this one thing got finished. It's not usable. There's no doors. There's no anything. But yeah, so that's it. We'll give credit. You'll hear such things as it well spent money buying things for my house. Well, here's something that he bought for my house. Now keep in mind, he physically went and retrieved this. And I don't mind that it's a used door. It's still a beautiful door. It doesn't fit the house. And he bought it, yes he did, with my money. With money I gave him. So he was not out of pocket. He bought that and other things with money I gave him. And then when it became a problem, because why? Because the door, this is to replace the ugly steel back door of the house that's falling apart right there. As I was told, well, don't worry about it, because why? Because he's going to reframe the door and make it work. Never to happen. The common theme being promises, 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 promises. And the second he got all the money he figured he was going to get out of me, because I flat out refused when he approached me with the crazy ass idea several months ago that I should just forget my house. Everything I've worked, the worth of my entire life's work, forget my house, and whatever money I still had, just give it all to him. And then he would leave, start his business, become fantastically successful, and promised to not just do the 3 things promised, that he would just hire contractors and redo the whole house for me. Yeah, and that just wasn't going to happen. I'm just not, I just wasn't born yesterday. And that was a real problem for him. So when he went to Tennessee under the guise of visiting family, doing some favors, making repairs for his mother, and then getting his son back home for the school year to start, yeah, he let me know that he's never coming back. He has no intention of doing these things. Why? Because he already got all the money I promised, over $3,000 on top of that in cash, almost a year of living 100%. And when I say I paid for every damn thing, I paid for every damn thing. Everything. The house, the damages, it is sinking. When we got here, the reason why he had said that he was doing the foundation is because that was one of the biggest issues with the house. And the house, when we got here, these stairs had started to separate the top here. They were still together over here. They had started to separate to the top here. With the initial lifting of the jacks, and I did make a video of it, they actually got a lot better. And I was super thrilled because, hey, when this house gets actually finally set level, this stuff wants to all go back together. Awesome, right? No, because he didn't finish it. He left it off level on jacks. They're now slipping, and without the foundation set up for the house to be put, there's no way for me to stop it. He left, and it is every day, and it's not just here. Look at this, and it's gotten worse because now it is moving down to other treads. It is real, and it was never like that before. All because not doing what he had promised to do numerous times. This hallway being upstairs, let me turn on a light because it's rather difficult to see, is much worse than the other. Oh, and he opened an attic window that I can't climb up and shut. So when it rains, it's coming right into the house. I've got to get a ladder up there and figure out what to do about that. The house, again, this way and that way, it's just pulling apart. It's just pulling apart. And I swear, I mean, I know I'm freaked out and paranoid about it. It's like almost every single damn time I walk up here. the separation between these floorboards, the number of floorboards that are coming up, it's just like it gets worse and worse. Worse and worse. It's really, and the house was not like this. He came to me about either a few days to maybe a week, Jesus God, before he left, to inform me and try to convince me that one of the roof trusses has now cracked through, but swears that it was always like that. And it's hot as Hades up there right now because this is quite a hot day. So tomorrow morning I'm going to go up and take pictures of that and let y'all decide and see what bullshit that is. When I say my house is in worse condition than what it was before, I am not exaggerating by any means. And to try to get anybody to come in and finish anything that was started, or, you know, the hell with this. I don't even care. I mean, I do care, but I don't even care about this. How about just not having my house fall? Literally. Not having my house split and fall apart to pieces. That would just the three things. Just the three things. Because I was obviously extremely upset. And when confronted, and I have continually asked and asked and asked, people warned me, people advised me. I was told by so many to don't trust him, don't give him anything until he's finished. And like an idiot. Yeah, I was an idiot. He's right, you know, the constant gaslighting and all the other bullshit. I just can't get over some of this mess, and I have to try and live with this. It's just seeing all this shit. I've got everything in this house. $6,000 worth of paint for the exterior. About half of the paint, well, all the paint for downstairs. I've got all the firewall, all the everything, the wall of it, everything to put together. My beautiful kitchen is here, and nothing has ever been able to be done because why? Because the foundation wasn't done. It's so off level, I can't move anything. Because when the house eventually is made level, everything's going to be wrong. So it's been the biggest holdup all this time, and I'm just, and this is the minimum. I'm not going to go into all of the crazy. I'm just speaking to what things that I have an overwhelming preponderance of text and everything absolutely proving. I mean, right up to within hours of his having left here. It was talked about. I ran around like an idiot to get things. Where did that go? Oh yeah, there's my police report. I am filing suit. I have told him he is not welcome to step foot on my property. If he wants to retrieve personal property, he's going to have to arrange that with a police escort. Because it's just not happening. I dealt with, it was so toxic and so bad. The screaming, the ranting, the yelling. I was flat out when I would not go along with his brilliant idea of me just giving him everything I had left and letting him leave, forget the house and everything, to start his business on the flimsy promise, because you can see how good his word has been from day one. That just sent him into a rage. So bad he would rage and yell and scream at me and gaslight me, and he would tell me that all of humanity, I am the lowest of lows. I am the most pitiful, wretched, selfish creature on the planet, because I wouldn't do that. Because I wouldn't do that for him, and I never I'm not nuts. I never In a billion years would have. Who the hell would? Because I wouldn't do that. All of humanity is suffering because of me. Yes, you heard that. For whatever reason, I have been saddled with the responsibility of all humanity because I'm preventing his amazing work from getting out there that's going to help so many people, because I wouldn't just say screw my house and my life savings and my retirement and everything, just hand it over and let him run amok with it, because I wouldn't do that. I'm the scourge of humanity and the most selfish creature that there is. And when I asked him, what happens if you're not successful? There's no guarantee you're going to make a penny. And he very point blank, again, I realized, and I got a therapist because I'm not dealing with somebody that's rational up here at all. I'm not dealing with somebody that's got a good grip on reality at all. Because the answer that I got was like, well, I'm just out. He thought that was a legitimate right thing, and I'm selfish why wouldn't I risk the balance of my entire life's work for humanity, for the greater good? He actually used that. He got all Star Trek on me. It was freaky as hell. And I would hear this and have this thrown at me so many times in explosive, just huge outbursts and rants and ravings. He would get so off the wall, out of control, angry with the yelling and the screaming and the tirades and the gaslighting, the defaming, the devaluing, that one occasion when he had driven off to go to town with his son, immediately one of my neighbors came and knocked on my door wanting to know if I was okay. That's when the real horror sat in, because I knew that my neighbors knew. I mean, I don't live on a little itty bitty city lot. I have a very large house on over 2.2 acres. And this neighbor is behind me by several acres. And they heard it. And they knew. They at least had some ideas as to what was really going on here, and they were worried about me. And I broke down. I have been through just hell in the last couple of months. It had me isolating myself. I kept an online presence. I put up a lot of video that was very Pollyanna, trying to make, ooh, look at all the progress we've made. Look at those videos. Look at the dates. Remember when I got here? And the reason why stuff wasn't done is because he very much did what he wanted to do. Didn't matter that it was my house. Didn't matter that it was my money. None of that mattered. He always did what he wanted to do. If I ever questioned anything, the constant threat was, and after all this place is being torn to bits, that he was just he would throw a fit like a toddler. And if I said one more word, you say one more word, I'm just leaving and you can just deal with it, was the constant threat if I questioned anything. And I had been in a holding pattern for the last couple of months. At that point, I was never under the delusional thinking that he was actually going to finish anything that he said he would, because he was a great guy or because he had any honor or integrity. But I thought the embarrassment, because despite his protestations of not caring what anybody thinks about him, he does very much worry about what other people think. And so I thought, not wanting to be publicly shamed because too many people knew what was supposed to be happening here, I thought that might have compelled him to finish at least the 3 things he had promised. And I just stomached it and dealt with it as best as I could. And the only thing I kept telling myself was, it's like the second this foundation is done, the second these porches are up, the second this house is safe, he's the hell out of here. And I was just holding on for that. And then, of course, when he realized, because he kept trying the whole time, and he was so preoccupied. My daughter, when she came and visited, she was upset and took me aside, and she's like, Mom, I know you're not gonna like hearing this. She's like, but I don't like his obsession. I don't like his obsession and preoccupation with your money. And there's a lot of controlling behavior, and I'm worried because he's probably being better because I'm here. Are you okay?